Today we're talking about fish and why it's the perfect animal protein for the summer. A lot of us could use more fish in our lives, but with today's practices, we need to be cautious of the quality of the fish that we're getting for both our health and the environment.
Fish is packed with omega-3s, which is essential for our brain health and for our nervous system, the production of vitamin D, and other hormones as well.
And the energy of fish is really cooling and flexible, and it swims in the open waters that are really nice and cool, so it's good for anyone who has inflammation or heat in the body of any kind. Heart disease, diabetes, chronic pain, arthritis, headaches, migraines, anything that really needs to be cooled down, fish is perfect.
We tend to focus on four main fish: salmon, cod, tuna, and sea bass. But we need to be careful of this because with so much demand on these varieties, there becomes overfishing, an increase in prices, and unethical practices and how we fish them out. So look to the variety of fish out there. There's trout and sole and flounder and mussels and crabs and all different shellfish and shrimp. So look to all of those guys. And even when we look at wild caught fish, we have to watch out for unethical practices. They're using netting, like big nets, which is killing other fish that get in the way as innocent bystanders. And they're also dredging the bottoms of the oceans, which is hurting our reefs and the habitats of these other wildlife. So we need to be cautious.
So this is where farming fish comes in, and there's a lot of pros and cons around farming. So one of the pros, of course, is about sustainability, because we're able to have more of these fish and we're not taking them from their natural environment or ruining their natural environment. But a lot of the cons are similar to the cons in conventional land farming practices. So we're seeing poor quality food, we're feeding them corn and soy byproducts, GMOs, antibiotics, they're living in crowded areas, their toxic waste is going into all the rivers and streams and oceans. So there can be a lot of bad side effects to farming. But there's also good practices that you can take, and it takes just a little bit of research to find a good fish market near you, or even go to Whole Foods, which has a really good practice of sustainability and ways that you can tell if your fish is quality.
And they have really good labeling as well, and it checks out. And so here I went and bought a farmed salmon piece and some wild sockeye salmon. As Megan was saying, salmon usually feed on krill and shrimp, and this is what causes their color to become this nice red pinkish color. When they're farmed and they're given corn or soy, they have no color. So what they have to do is give them color pellets to make them turn this orange. So we need to be careful of that. Look at this wild sockeye that fed on krill. It's nice deep red color. It's another variety, but you can see what it does to it. Also, the farmed salmon is not doing its natural behavior of swimming upstream and spawning. So it's this stressed out fish swimming in circles, and it has all these fatty layers because it's not getting the same kind of exercise that it usually does.
Yeah, and a lot of people also avoid fish because of mercury levels, but that's usually due to our polluted environment in general. A lot of the toxins that are released go into our oceans and rivers, and they tend to be in the bigger fish because those fish eat all the smaller fish and it accumulates in their flesh. But again, that doesn't mean we should avoid it. We just want to look towards more traditional practices and how they pair these big fish with other foods. So if you look to Japan, they pair their tuna with seaweed or green tea, and seaweed and green tea are heavy metal pullers. So even as you might be taking mercury in, it's also helping the body get rid of it. Cilantro is another food that's a heavy metal puller that you can pair your fish with as well.
So don't forget, we evolved from water. Fish is part of us. It's important to incorporate it into your diet. Every settlement throughout time has revolved around a water source, not just for drinking and cleanliness, but also for the seafood and the sea vegetables.
So if you find yourself low in iodine or have any thyroid conditions, we really want to be bringing seafood back into our lives. And not just fish, but looking to shellfish, which is really high in iodine, and also seaweed itself. So in today's dish, we made this beautiful halibut, and with the rice, we made a coconut rice, and we included a piece of kombu seaweed that we just throw right into the rice when we're cooking it, so it absorbs all of those natural properties. And then with the fish and the halibut itself, we put it and cooked it in this en papillote, which is a French way for cooking in a pouch or in a package. And that way it'll steam with all of the ingredients, and we topped it with this beautiful mango salsa.
So stay tuned for the bloopers where we show you how to make the en papillote. And head to simply-seasonal.com, sign up for emails to get the full recipe and so much more.
Well, that sounds simple enough.
Because it's simply seasonal.
All right, so today we are doing an en papillote fish. So the first step that you want to do is take a piece of parchment paper and fold it in half. Then you want to draw trace a big heart, just like you used to do when you were a little kid. Take a pair of scissors and cut the heart out. All right, so here we have this heart, and it's gonna be the pouch. So we're gonna put the fish in one side and fold it all over. So here we have a piece of our fish today. We are using halibut. So we put the fillet down there in the middle. We're gonna, of course, season it with a bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to top it with some sliced garlic, some onions, and some lime. And then we will finish it off with just a little drizzle of olive oil right on the top. What we're gonna do is just turn this into a pouch. So you fold over the top and you start crimping kind of like you would do a pie crust. So you fold one end over, the other end over, and just start crimping. Again, kind of similar to a pie crust, or kind of like you're making a rope pattern. When the fish is in the oven, this little pouch is allowing it to steam. All of the flavors will start to meld together. And there you go. So all you're gonna do is put this on a baking sheet, pop it into the oven, let it cook and steam, and then you're done.